Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial by Zebra Code. In this tutorial, we are going to work with multiple files and link them together. In other words, the purpose of this tutorial is to teach you how to link up files in a C++ program and access classes and functions in different files. This tutorial will introduce you to the concept of working with many different files and linking them together in your C++ application. We will look at a more advanced way of doing it in another video. For now, let's build an application with separate files and link them up with the main file of the application. To do that, open your favorite text editor or IDE. I will be using Sublime Text, but any IDE will do. Now, I have my IDE open, which is Sublime Text. I have created a folder on my desktop and I named it Project 1. You can also create a project on your desktop or anywhere on your computer and open it in your favorite editor. Now, inside this Project 1 folder, I am going to create a new file. I will name this file as timeday.h, all one word, timeday.h. Hit enter. Now in my folder, I have a file called timeday.h. In this tutorial, we are going to create an application that displays current time and date and also asks the user to enter their first name and last name. They will all be in separate files and we will link them up in our main application. That is the purpose of this tutorial, how to link up files. Now, let's do it. With the timeday.h file open, I'm going to enter some code. If not defined, timeday underscore h, then define it. Then we end it, and if. This is going to be a header file, and this is how we specify a header file. If timeday is not defined, then define it, and now we end it here. So I'm going to add some header directives, include IOStream, include seed time using namespace standard, std for standard. Now I'm going to define the class current time and day. That's the name of our class, current time and day. Public void, let's add a function to it, void current time and day. Time underscore t, that is a type in the time header directive, which we have here. Call it my current time. And time my current time and date. Let's make a reference to it there. Now see out the current time and date is C time my current time and date, semicolon there. Now we can close our class there Save it. So what we have done here is we've defined a header file with the name timeday.h as the name of the file. We say here, if not define timeday, then define timeday. We have included some header directives and we are using namespace standard. We have a class here which we define, we call it class current time and day. Make some of these attributes here to be public. And we have a function here that we call current time and day. So it's going to display the current time and date in our console, that is in our application, which is great. Now we have done that and it's good, but we don't have a main file to run it. In other words, we need to create a main file that we will use to run this application. To do that, I'm going to create another file and I will name it myproject.cpp. This time it's a .cpp, not a .h file. New file. We'll call it myproject.cpp. This is a C++ file now, so we are saving it as .cpp, not a header file. So in this file now, we need to include this file. So we need to link this file with our main file. And to do that, we include it with a header directive, include double quote. Please let it be double quote and not single quote, otherwise you might have some issues. So I am using double quotes. Time day.h. Timeday.h. This file is what we are including to the main file. So we include timeday.h int main return 0 semicolon. Now we have a class here and we are going to make an object of that class in our main part of the application so that we can call it current time a day, and I will use an abbreviation here, C for current, T for time, A for and D for day, equals new current time and day. Now let's access the function inside this file, which is current time and day. To copy it, ctad, pointer here, current time and day, semicolon. Now save it. We are going to compile it and run it. I am going to run it from the command prompt. So I will open the command prompt, cmd, command prompt, cd desktop, and cd project 1. Hit enter. Yes, now I am inside my project 1 folder. This time G++ -0, the run time. This is just the name of the file we are going to run. You can name it anything. Now, what are we compiling? We are compiling myproject.cpp. So we are compiling myproject.cpp. So hit enter. Great. It was compiled successfully. Now let's run it. We are going to run t time. What we call it? Run t time. Hit enter. Great. Our application runs successfully. The current time and date is Saturday, June 12th, and the time is 23:44:19, and is this year 2021. So aside the time of running it, this was the correct time and date. Maybe by the time you will be doing it, it will be different, but it is going to show you your current time and date. So in this application now, we have successfully linked two separate files together and they are working well. There is another thing we are going to do now. I am going to write some code that will ask a user of their first name and last name. Then it will print them out. But to do that, we also need a separate file. And I am going to create another folder inside project 1 in which I'm going to put that file. So I will name that folder header. To do that, I'm going to create a new file, header. To do that, I'll type in header myapp.h. This is another header file. It's not a .cpp file. It should be .h. Hit enter. So now you can see inside project 1, I have another folder which is called header. And inside that header folder, there is a file named myapp.h. And this is the file. We also need to enter some code there and link them up together. If not define myapp_h, then define it. Now end it, and if myapp_h. Great. I'm going to add some header directives as well. Include IOString. Now include the string header directive using namespace. std standard. Now we are going to define a class and we will name it user info. Semicolon there. For the access modifier, let's make it public. And now we're going to create a function here, void your name. String first name, string last name, cout, enter your first name. Cout, enter your first name. End line. Now cin first name. Again, cout, enter your last name. Cout, enter your last name. Cin last name. Cout you are first name space last name. End line. Save it. Great. What we have done here now is we created a file myapp.h, and it says here if not defined, IFNDEF stands for if not defined my app underscore h, then define my app underscore h. We have added some header directives to it, include IOString, include string, using namespace standard. And we defined a class here which we called user info. We have set it to public, and we have a function in it which we call your name. So your name function will ask for the first name, last name, and it will print them out on the screen. That is when we run the program. It's great. The next thing now is to link it up with the main part of the application so that we can actually run it. To do that, in the main application, in the header part of it, we also need to include the file myapp.h. Here in the myproject.cpp app, we also need to include the myapp.h. Include double quote header / myapp.h. The reason for this is myapp.h is actually in the folder header, so that is why we are including the full part to it. So save it. Now that we have successfully included the file myapp, we need to make an object of this class, that is user info. I'm going to copy it here. I'll say comment. Here we say calling the user info class and the your name function in it. So to do that, now we say user info. You make a pointer to that, my info equals new user info. Great. And the function we are going to access inside the myapp.h is your name. Copy it again. My info, pointer there to your name, then semicolon. So here now we have successfully called this function from the user info because we make an object of my info from it. Now let's compile our application and run it. CMD. Let's open the command prompt. And we cd to the directory, and you can also cd to where yours is. Project 1. Hit enter. Great. Now let's compile it. G++ -o run time is the name we're going to call it. And what are we running? We are running the name of that file, myproject.cpp. Hit enter. Great, the compilation was done successfully. Now let's run time. Hit enter. Great. It's doing exactly what we expected it to do. The current time and date is this, and it's now asking me to enter the first name. I'll enter zebra code. Zebra code. Hit enter. Enter your last name. Coda. Hit enter. Great, you are zebra coda. So our application is doing what we expected it to do. So there are a few things to go through here quickly. You can see here in the main part of the application, we did not actually include the header directives, IOString, string, using namespace standard, because they are already included in our .h files. So what we are just doing here is to create object of the files that we have declared as our header files, and we link those two files to it. So in this tutorial, we have created different files and linked them up together in the main file. The purpose of this tutorial was to help you understand how to link up C++ files in a project. I hope you've learned something from this video. If you like our video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.